Sports bettors, you need to download Sharps, the better social network. With Sharps mobile app, you can tailor your friends' bets with one click. See a bet you like? Just click the whale tail icon and boom, it will open in your corresponding sportsbook. Sharp securely connects to major sportsbooks like FanDuel, MGM, Caesars, and more, so you can not only track your bets, but share your bets in creative ways. So gather the degens, download Sharps for free, and join our fast-growing sports betting community.
Bills, man, they've been struggling offensively. Hence why they got rid of Ken Dorsey as their OC. I think I kind of predicted that they would regress a little bit here, and I'd like to say I'm right a little bit. All of the games in the past 6 games, they've been decided within a touchdown. So Bills offense, and a lot of that has to do, I think, with the Bills offense and just the overall mojo of the team. So, they did lose to the Jets. I think it was like the first game of the season when Aaron Rodgers went down and Zach Wilson came in here. So that was in New Jersey. This game's going to be in Buffalo. So it's like, okay, maybe they can do, bounce back a little bit. So I am predicting, though, that the cover or the spread over here is 7 points in favor of the Bills. And like I mentioned before, the past 6 games have been decided within a touchdown. So I'm going to say that the Jets cover, but I am predicting the Bills to be victorious in here. I think one thing is that the Bills, it always seems like they bounce back. I forget which games exactly here, but they lost a couple games and they won the next game. They lost, they lose like a bad game and then they win the next game. And I think that's been, kind of why they're 500 right now, right? So I think this is their bounce back. I know they've lost 2 in a row, but at the same time, this still is a really talented team. I think they're going to eventually figure things offensively. But this is the first week without Ken Dorsey and their offensive coordinator and trying to figure things out a little bit more. So I feel like that's going to take a little bit some time to gel. So for me, I'm going to be placing a bet here that the Jets will cover the 7-point spread, but I do believe that the Bills will win here. So, Pat, what do you got?
Man, this one's tough. It is tough. Number one, tough to swallow that, I thought, the Bills would probably be our 1 seed this year in the AFC. Things started pretty nicely, but I feel like there's just been these undertones, especially on the offensive side of the ball, where it's like just this feeling that Stefon Diggs does not want to be there. I feel like that was an off-season rumor. We kind of saw his disgust after, getting bounced from the AFC playoffs last year, kind of mouthing off to Josh Allen on the sideline. And, the juju of that team is just completely off. Like, I don't know, if the Ken Dorsey move was the right move, number one. Like, it's a message sent to the rest of the team, like, hey, turn it around. But I feel like you got rid of one of the guys that truly put the Buffalo Bills on the map, especially Josh Allen, that offense, working as the QB coach under Brian Daboll. Obviously, Daboll got his job from, being a part of that system and showed out in that first year with New York that, hey, like, I know what I'm doing and I'm capable of, turning, some trash into treasure. And, it's just unfortunate. Like, I'm a little lost with them right now because, the last game, for example, they were able to get the run going, but in the same sense, like, they were just coughing up the ball so much. Like, they seem like very prone to, losing fumbles. Josh Allen, he'll throw like an errant ball every once in a while and get a pick. But what I really didn't like is they didn't utilize Diggs. And that was the reason why Trayvon Diggs, his brother, got on there and was like, Stefon's basically made Josh. And he's not wrong. Like, I don't love how Stefon's gone about, maybe his relationship with the Bills, especially in these last couple of years. And it's unfortunate because if he just bought in and obviously maybe took the slack that he needed to, like, as far as like the rest of the offense not really coming around, like, that's one thing. But it's like he's too important to that team to just kind of, give up at this point. Maybe that's part of his mental makeup. But what the Bills absolutely need to do in this game against the Jets is establish that tie back to Stefon Diggs being their top target getter. Maybe what they've tried to do is diversify that offense, which we have talked about, like getting a second weapon who's consistent, like a Dalton Kincaid. Maybe it's Gabe Davis. Who knows? James Cook had good amount of yardage on the ground in the last one, got over 100 yards, but also had two really, one fumble that was lost and another that he luckily scooped back up and was able to take for a big run. But it's like, there's just too much up and down the offense. Defense, I couldn't say more good things about it. Creates a ton of pressure, lots of sacks. I feel like they're always creating turnovers with their secondary, whether it's Poyer or Teron Johnson. Also, Rasul Douglas was a great, addition from the Packers there. But yeah, so I mean, I got some question marks, but I think if they get back to Diggs as their primary weapon and really start to, maybe emphasize the run a little bit more, that might be their best approach here against the Jets team that does have a good secondary and a really good defense overall. But what I will say on the Jets side of things is like they are just waiting for Aaron Rodgers to get healthy. Like this is all about, making sure the team's in position to capitalize on whatever Aaron Rodgers can give them at the end of the year. Because the way Zach Wilson and the rest of that team played against, Las Vegas on the road, it was pretty like despicable. I mean, Garrett Wilson's like the only, I feel like the only guy who's like all year been truly consistent. The Raiders do have a good defense, but Breece Hall was completely locked up. It's not going to get any better against Buffalo, to be honest with you. I think the Jets also have a problem with just having a second weapon too. Like they're very much like the Bills, except the Bills have Josh Allen and, Zach Wilson is not even in the vicinity of being, even a top 20 quarterback, top 25 quarterback in this league. So in Buffalo with a tight spread, give me the Bills. And I think it will be a close one and a relatively low scoring one too.
Yeah. I mean, the Chargers or the Jets against the Chargers was a 27-6. And looking at the past couple games here, yeah, and the Raiders, they scored 12 points. Even when they had that victory against the Giants, a couple weeks back, 13 points. So really, their offense just has been really anemic. Maybe they do get some sort of rhythm, but like you were saying, everybody's waiting for this Aaron Rodgers moment, and I think I predicted the Jets to win the division. Basically 100% relying on Aaron Rodgers being there. Like, if Aaron Rodgers was, playing on this team for the entire season, like that's probably at least like maybe 2 victories that he himself would, kind of will the team to have. So I think, and then that would, I think would put them on top of the division or tie for the division lead here. So yeah, but at the same time, yeah, this Bills team, there's a lot of question marks. I think that's happening, and this is going to be kind of an inflection point of, all right, maybe we do get, we come together with this whole Stephon Diggs situation. I think Rob Gronkowski like made like a little video about this, right? About Stephon Diggs and how he needs to something needs to happen there. So anyway, yeah, I definitely see the Bills, I think, taking this. They just have way too much talent in Buffalo, and I think all those factors kind of play into this. And then, yeah, the Jets just have been struggling offensively, and then the defense. Usually when that happens, sometimes the defense is like, "Hey, we tried enough. We can't cover Stephon Diggs and all the weapons that the Bills do have." But if Josh Allen does commit a bunch of turnovers, like this can be a very, very much be a snowball effect that happens for the Jets in their favor. But yeah, for me, I'm definitely going to be picking. Yeah, it's going to be close, I think, here. With that 7-point spread in favor of the Jets.
Yeah. The last thing I'll say is like Josh Allen this year is reminding me a lot more of like a Dak Prescott type than he is like a Joe Burrow type in previous seasons, where we're like, it's kind of fool's gold because you're like, man, I think Josh Allen is an absolute gamer, playmaker, and it's really changed up this year because the fact that he hasn't been able to create like a number 2, like a solidified number 2, really shows that dependency that he does have on Diggs. And, I think for what he is as an athlete, like he does need to exploit that run for himself a lot more. Like we in Chicago see what Justin Fields has been like over his first 3 seasons. And a lot of what his game is on the ground. And it's like, we really want him to make those strides as a passer, but he's not reaching those levels. And when I look at Josh, like Bonafide Josh is probably still, because quarterback's such a tough position, like a top 10 type of guy, but he's really taken a step back to me, like just in the way I view him this year versus the way I viewed him in this last couple.
Yeah, I mean, and I like that comparison because I feel like that is a very justified comparison between Josh Allen and Justin Fields. Actually, uh, both are big time playmakers, right? They can make uh, plays on their feet. They can gun it downfield, just like with the best of them. And I think the differences is clutch moments, maybe more so. Josh Allen has shown in the playoffs a little bit. Granted, Justin Fields has yet to get there, but you know, uh, Justin Fields, I think his biggest thing is he can get the touchdowns. I think he has like 11 right now, and he had got four touchdown games I think this season, and it's like he does so a lot of those things well, the big time plays. Where he struggles though is turnovers and doing the check down, right, and not being able to read the field completely. But it's like that's also kind of what Josh Allen is to a certain extent with big time plays and then also the turnovers. I think he leads the league in terms of total touchdowns since he's entered the league, but he also leads the league in like total turnovers, if I'm not mistaken. I think like one or two for both of those. So, a lot of positives, but then there's those negatives that can definitely be a difference maker for when you're going against, say, a good quality team. Where when you lose that turnover margin, those turnovers against a good quality team, good luck winning those games against the Chiefs, Bengals in the playoffs, Ravens, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, just a lot of things like happening like that right now with the Buffalo Bills. But I do believe that they have some good coaching there. Obviously, getting rid of Dorsey, it's going to be a little bit more of a fresh start there. But I think they do have enough offensive talent. Hopefully, for their sake, they're able to kind of just pull together in this situation right now.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, we'll see how this one goes. I would expect, a pretty tight game here. I think these two are still, vying for playoff contention. I think they're still competitors in this race, but we'll just see how it shakes out.